be
lunch.
That's a sketchy. That's another hillbilly right there. Is what that is. This is my brother Sal. We've been hunting creatures.
I'm hearing my echo. Hang on, man.
I feel like I have to put on a beard to kind of get onto this camera with you so I can fit in or something.
Okay, well, tape that up there. Nobody will notice. I promise.
Yeah, and he's getting ready to jet back to Idaho.
What part of Idaho?
Boise, the bad part. He lives in Boise.
Oh man, I tell you what.
What he's doing right now is eating a bunch of scrambled eggs and pastries. That's what he's doing.
Well, has he treated you well, Sal?
Pardon me?
Did you hear me?
Yeah, he heard you. Well, he didn't hear what you said because he can't hear.
What was that?
I said, is he treating you well?
He's treating me about the best he can, you know. Yeah, we had a good time. We had a lot of telling stories and goofing off and seeing some pretty country and seeing a bunch of critters and even killed a few and wandered around the desert for a while.
Well, those are all acceptable activities.
Looking for long dead creatures. And now I got a whole lot full of dogs.
You find anything long dead? Hey, Chuck, good morning. Hi, Julie.
We found some long dead stuff.
Yeah, anything really cool? By long dead, he means fossilized, guys, just so you know.
Yeah, with gars and random creatures.
Morning, my wife, Brenda.
Morning, Miss Brenda.
Is Sal eating and jetting immediately, or is he hanging around?
I'm gonna hang around for a little bit, but I do have to get back to Boise at some point.
Yeah, but you don't have to be there like by a certain time.
He wants to be a long-time listener, first-time caller.
He needs to get in on the.
He wants to get in on the comment.
I told Mark I'm going to stick around until he starts telling lies, so I figure that'll be about 5 minutes.
Well, you might as well leave then.
It'll be about 5 minutes.
You might as well hit the road.
You might as well just leave right now, dude.
Yeah, you might as well go. That's kind of a prerequisite. It depends on what you call a lie. There's the difference between a lie, just an out and out lie,
an out and out lie or a stretch.
Or there's a the fish grows. I don't know if I'd call that a lie. That's more of an embellishment.
Fish get from this big to this big to this big to this big to this big.
Yeah, and it happens over time. If we just said you caught a 3-pound fish, you said I caught a 47-pound fish, that's a big lie there. That's you can't stretch that quick, but if you get there over a series of weeks or months, you're okay. Fish grow over time. That's acceptable and understandable if you're a fisher person.
There you go.
Oh, me. Well, Chuck, that's good. I'm glad Chuck was a little under the weather last week, so.
Glad you're feeling better, Chuck.
I'm trying to figure out if need to knock them out, John. I slept hard last night. Of course, that's maybe just making up for a week of not sleeping good.
So this has been an awful week for me. The lunar cycle affects me big time, and I don't care what anybody says. It does.
Well, I told Brenda that.
my wife and daughter were like, we're not even going to tell him it's the full moon. I feel it.
Yeah, it's been that here too. I don't know if that's been my problem or not. Maybe it is, but I didn't sleep much this week. And then, but last night I fell asleep watching the ball game. I don't know how it turned out. So somebody give me a score if you've got it.
Who was playing?
The one I was watching late was the Detroit and Seattle, and Seattle.
I thought Detroit was going to play the Chiefs.
They're playing not football, baseball.
Babe.
Oh, you're talking baseball.
I'm talking World Series playoffs.
My wife just told me I was an idiot.
And morning, Shauna.
In a really nice way, she just called me an idiot.
Well, I've detected a loving tone. I bet she knows who won. Ask her who won the Detroit Mariners game.
I can go find out.
She does not know, but she's on her way to get the Wayback Machine to figure it out.
Well, when I fell asleep on it last night, they were in the 14th inning.
Seriously?
Yeah. And I fell asleep. I was watching it. I was kind of thought, wow, this is turning out pretty interesting. Was
it like 1-1, 14?
2-2.
2-2.
Yeah, almost as good as 1-1.
Sometimes those long games like that it's like 2-2 or 1-1 are kind of like watching some paint dry.
Well, yeah, but you can't turn away though, because it's a little bit like a train wreck paint dry.
Exactly.
Because you never know who's going to make the next great play. Like a triple play in the bottom of the 10th save the day. That kind of thing.
Right.
And
well, that's the appealing part for me of baseball is that they could break it wide open at any second. It's usually the team I'm rooting against, but
Josie.
Statistically, I don't know if we can prove that or not, but it could be. It feels that way.
I've often thought about rooting for the other team just to see if I can make them lose.
Well, that's a thought.
But the force probably will get me.
I heard a voice.
So the Mariners won 3-2. That was the third game in the best of 5 series. So
yeah, the Mariners won.
The Mariners won.
So
okay.
They start playing the Blue Jays today, Tim. Oh, tomorrow they'll start playing the Blue Jays.
Yeah, okay. I thought the that was the last game of that series. That was a 3 out of 5. So
yeah.
And there's a couple Yankees that I enjoy watching that are, I think, probably pretty good people. But
are you talking about baseball players or regular Yankees?
Baseball. No, not regular Yankees.
Okay.
Although there were some of them that were pretty cool too. But there's I was torn on when the Blue Jays were playing the Yanks. Not too torn. A little bit. I like watching. He's grown on me, that Gigantor that they've got playing for him. Because he's just a good man. So
did I tell him Seattle? Is that what I told you?
No, I have a rule in my house. Anybody that's on the Yankees team or any Yankees ball club is not. I can't.
Yeah, I couldn't fully weigh in and I'm rooting for you guys.
I was born that way. As I've said before. Hey, Cherie, welcome in. Not seen you in a while. The
Maybe I want the Brewers to go all the way.
oh,
One
heck,
team's open.
I've told it before, but
Never
my
seen
house, we were mom rooted for the Yankees, and dad was for anybody that was playing the
it.
Yankees. Period.
Right.
That could have been the dog catcher from Johnson City, and he'd have been rooted.
I think he was in the minors for a couple of years and the majors for 3 or 4. But still.
That's just how it is. The only exception to that might have been there was a Yankees farm club in Johnson City, and we used to go watch them play, but I think that was more just because they were there. Dad just never he wasn't going to be a Yankees fan.
Your dad was a staunch Braves fan.
He was a Braves fan. He had been most since he was younger than me, or I mean, obviously younger than me, but I mean, they were Braves fans. First thing I ever remember, except Mom would pull for the Yankees. I don't know why that connection with the Yankees and East Tennessee's always been around, but there's always been a bunch of.
Well, it's because of the farm league.
Well, it probably was, but except of course, my uncles played for the Yankees. Back when they were what they used to call them, the monsters of. No, that was football, wasn't it? Now, what was it? What was that? The Yankees team that won every World Series for 100 years back in the 30s or something.
No, they told you that they played for them.
Now, wait a minute. You call my kid a liar?
Nope, not at all.
Okay.
They also blew the back of the. They also made the horseshoe at UT.
Well, that was when they were playing football, though.
That was when they were playing football. They ran so hard they blew the whole back of the stadium out.
I hear doubt in your voice. I'm not sure about you.
Yeah, I can see it.
My uncle he pitched.
That was my dog.
That was my dog. My uncle pitched and caught for the Yankees at the same time, which is not something you see in today's baseball.
You don't see that anymore today.
No, you don't. I mean, he was that quick.
And caught at the same time.
He was that quick.
My wife's over here laughing.
That's what he told me. That's all I got to go by.
That's what he told you when you were a little boy.
Me. And I believed him. Well, I kind of believed him.
Oh my goodness!
It was that was just there were funny stories back in those days. I missed that.
So he flew out.
Did I ever tell you about his?
Picked up
In war, I guess it was World War II, which he served during. He caught. He was he was out, lone soldier, and he caught 500 Germans.
Kind of like
make a little picture.
Well, it's because he was so fast and quick on his feet. He still got all that. That was a theme throughout his whole career: football, baseball.
His lightning speed.
Well, he circled them and kept. They thought they were surrounded. And they all surrendered, and he marched them into camp, and he was a big hero. Apparently, he didn't accept all those gratuitous medals because I didn't all them. My guess is he gave
He's
those.
running around them like a border collie.
Yeah, like a border collie, like a whole pack of border collies.
Oh, good gosh!
God, I wish I could go back and hear some of those again.
I was showing.
What am I looking at?
I'll show you later. There's that picture of Tim in the front yard. Garden gnome Tim.
Uh-oh. He should have just slid Sal over in the seat and let Sal be the co-host. I learned something yesterday. Wait a minute. I had never heard of the Indianapolis Clowns. It was a Negro baseball. Oh, really? I don't think I knew. I don't know if I knew about the. There was some really interesting Negro League baseball. There were some great ball players back then too, and that one I'm not familiar with. I know teams that Satchel Paige played for at different times, but man,
Josh, what was his name?
which one?
Satchel Paige was playing the same time. There was a great big guy that was a heck of a hitter. That was Josh something.
Gibbons.
Josh
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Gibbons.
Maybe not. I could look him up. What I ever did with that.
Hey, John, welcome in, buddy. There's a new
Good
baseball.
morning, John.
Okay, Sheree, I
How's
got
the striper fishing?
Oh,
Oh, he was catching bluefish last time we talked.
yeah, the other day he was catching bluefish. Sheree, that's a good. I thought that was a joke when it first started. And maybe it kind of is. Oh, he was.
Satchel Paige wasn't. He was a clown.
Oh, interesting.
Josh Gibbons is who you were thinking
I didn't remember that.
Josh Gibbon.
Josh Gibbons.
Josh Gibbon.
Josh
Yeah.
Gibbons.
He played for the Homestead Grays
Homestead Grays.
and then for the Red Sox.
And then he went to the Red Sox.
So he was one of the guys that got to move over.
Yeah, like when what's his buck? I can't remember anything anymore. It just went out of my head.
I was trying to remember when Satchel Paige.
Except for hunting and fishing stuff, I usually remember that. But horses.
I think he also played Satchel Paige. I mean, also played for the Birmingham Barons. Maybe was that their name? I know they've got a name.
He was fairly old when he went to the bigs.
Yes, he was. He got that, which was a shame because he was a really good pitcher, especially when in his younger days. I was trying to figure out because I remember I swear I remember him playing a few games when I was a kid. I remember Dad talking about him playing. Maybe those two things ran together, but I don't know when he actually, because like you said, he got into the big leagues, the majors late, and then he hung around for a little bit, but I'm not sure how long he played. Banana ball, back to the banana ball thing a minute. I've heard a lot of people talking about that lately. I have seen a little bit of that, and
It's hilarious.
So now they've turned it into a whole league, I guess.
It's absolutely hilarious to watch those guys play ball. It's like watching the Globetrotters play the Washington. What was that team they played all the time in Washington?
Oh, John's making clam chowder.
Oh my goodness!
That he raked up fresh clams.
Oh my goodness!
So, John, how do you preserve clams from summer? Are you canning them, or how do you preserve those?
They have this new device that they call a freezer.
Well, I didn't know if they were good that way. I wasn't sure. Some things you don't freeze well as others. I mean, I was thinking about this the other day. I'd like to get a pig. Wait, let me explain that. I'd like to get a pig big enough. I'd like to cook a pig in the ground. I'd like to do a pig roast, for family or whatever. And but I thought about it. If I got one early, pork doesn't.
But get one like this long, dude.
Yeah, about 100 pounds or less. 100 pounds or less, probably about what I need, or dressed out 100 pounds. Depends on how many people I've got coming, I guess. I know a guy that raises small pigs, and I can get one from him. and he lives just west of here a little bit, and he steamed them, then froze them. Okay.
Steams them, chops them, and then freezes them.
Jess Cole, the founder of Banana Ball, reminds Cherie of Walt Disney. So you're saying he's kind of a visionary sort of guy, or are you trying to say he's talks like Mickey Mouse? I didn't realize there was. I guess I did know there was more than one team. Because if I recall, when I first saw Banana Ball, first time I ever saw it, seems like they were going around playing. You know, they do exhibition games with farm teams, kind of like the Globetrotters did. And I did see them on TV recently. I watched a little bit of a game, and they were playing another team that looked very much like them, only they were, a different name. So I knew there were a couple of teams, but I didn't know how many.
Was it the Washington Generals that the Globetrotters played?
That was in basketball. It was yeah, maybe. It was the Washington.
I mean, they just had one team they played against.
Oh, yeah, true.
And they were good.
Oh, they were good.
But they weren't Globetrotter good.
Oh, I thought you meant, yeah, right. But the Globetrotters, man, those guys could play. They were they were out there goofing off and having a good time, but they were really good ball players too.
Yeah, yeah.
Hang on a minute and I'll tell you. Yeah, it was the Generals.
The Party Animals, the Firefighters, and the Tailgaters.
Firefighters, Cherie. That's who I saw them playing. The one I saw, they were fine. They were playing the Firefighters because they were out there, and some of them were out there in helmets. I mean, fire helmets and fire gear, big coat, big. Playing that kind of. Some of them were. Not all of them. I don't remember. They should have had a pole to slide down at the dugout or something. I wonder if they've thought of that yet. Maybe I could sell that to somebody.
Maybe you could sell that idea to them. Like the Red Sox wearing the Green Monster hat.
Welcome in, Tina. Were you? And she liked and shared, and the hounds are out. The hounds released the hounds.
Release the dogs of war.
Yeah. I was out, speaking of hounds, when I walked from the house to the library, pretty much every morning, the big sheepdog, guard dog, the sheepdog, what is it?
Pyrenees.
She runs down to the fence at the road and barks. We talk back and forth. I talk, she barks, we communicate. And she does it. She used to do it every day when I'd come out, and she's kind of slowed down a little bit now. I think she's getting a little older. But this morning I walked out, and I didn't say anything to her. I didn't see her laying up there. And I just started walking towards him. I'm telling you, I'm a little off this morning. And I started walking to her. By the time I got to the steps, she ran down to the fence, her and the hound dog that also lives over there. And they were just barking and baying and hollering at me like, hey, ho, why didn't you say hi this morning? Well, you can't talk to us anymore? What's wrong with you? So I had to go back out and apologize and talk to them for a few minutes. Calm them down a little bit.
Well, my buddy Sal's dog, he has a GPS collar on her.
Yeah.
She's a German short hair. And when we were up on the mountain chasing ruffled grouse, she ran like one morning's hunt, she ran 11 miles.
Oh, you can tell.
And she's built like a whippet. I mean,
how many miles?
She's been hunting for days. He was hunting in Idaho before he came here.
Sounds like she loves it. How many miles do you think, Sal? How many miles do you think you walked in relationship to that?
One.
Yeah, I was gonna say not anywhere close to that. Give me one or two.
One, maybe two. See, we used to have a rule. There was another thing. We hunting grouse in East Tennessee used to be like 11 miles of walking per bird or something. We used to have a.
Oh, we had such poor rough grouse hunting and all those goddamn rhododendrons and mountain laurel
When you
thickets.
did jump on, you couldn't get your shotgun up.
You never saw the bird. And with Sal and I were talking about that yesterday. He was talking about hunting rough grouse in Wisconsin, in northern Wisconsin, and you didn't count the number of birds you harvested, or if you got a limit, you counted flush.
Oh, a limit? That's hilarious.
You counted the number of flushes you had that day. Like, well,
Exactly.
I flushed 14 birds today, or my dog
Well,
did.
and here's the thing: if most people, maybe not all people, but people I know, people I hang around with, they count. I mean, if you jump 14 birds in a day, that's actually a good sign because things could get a lot better. You might get the shot.
That's a pretty good day anywhere.
Yeah.
Grandpa and I used to go up and hunt in the UP where bird numbers were absolutely unbelievable to me. And we had days where you'd flush 100 birds, but you might only shoot one of them.
Where was that?
Up in the UP.
Not the UP Peninsula. Not up.
In northern Michigan. Grandpa used to drag me up there. We'd throw a bunch of dogs in a car and drive up there when I was a little boy, and bird numbers were just like psychotic.
Hold that thought one
and
moment.
That might be a fish that's got.
Well, that's okay. I can live with that. Morning, Disney Dave. I missed you there. We were telling the line. I mean, we were talking, and I missed you there. No, let's back up to that. See, I can almost believe that because my buddy Steve, who you guys met a few weeks ago.
Yeah, he was working up in that country.
Well, he went to school Carol's not in here. I can say this out loud. I don't think she is. He went to school at Michigan. He got his master's degree at Michigan State.
Right.
So he spent some time in Michigan, and he went up there. I think that's when he started hunting up there.
Was he still working on wood ducks then?
He was still working on wood ducks, but he was working out of. You know how that works. When I first started at TVA here and near just a few miles from here, I was working. The University of Michigan or Mississippi was paying me because they had some kind of a contract deal with TVA, and they were, it was a project they were working on, and some of I did that, and anyway. So he was doing something like that. Somebody up there was probably writing a book about wood ducks, and they needed a grad student to come down here. See, the thing about that was, this can be a squirrel or it cannot be a squirrel. One of the reasons for that was that same time period, my good friend Billy Menzer was also down here, and they were researching wood ducks because wood ducks were not so common then, and there was a lot of work on that going on, and they discovered that there were more wood ducks. This is scientifically proven fact. There were more wood ducks per mile on the Holston River than any other place in the country.
Yeah,
and they worked on that for years, and it was consistent. And there was all kinds of reasons. I haven't read all the papers on it, but I should have. But anyway, while he was in Michigan, he would go up there and go hunting. So afterwards, he and his dad used to go up there at least a couple times a year. They'd take their dogs and they'd go to Michigan and they would hunt grouse. And he talked about they never talked to his dad about it. Steve talked about how good it was for a long time. And then it got to where the last couple of times that he went, he wasn't.
Oof, they were gone.
Yeah, they were gone. Now, this has probably got something to do with it. Logging practices changed drastically from those two time periods.
But like this year for us, so last year, I saw more birds, bigger broods of blue grouse, rough grouse, and sage grouse than I ever have in my life. And then this year,
nothing, or not many.
Gone. I mean, they're not gone, but
what do you reckon that
I think Sal killed the last one, but
the last one. I'm laughing. That's not. I don't want.
He shot a little male rough grouse that was all by himself, which is weird. I mean, he was a juvenile from this year, but he didn't find the hen or anything.
How far do you have to go from your house to hunt rough grouse?
What was it? About 50 minutes? Hour?
Yeah, it's about an hour drive.
Huh.
And it can be absolutely fantastic, but it also can be
like it was yesterday.
It was, 2 days ago. So
see, I can look around in my mind, I can look around your house. I don't see a lot of rough grouse habitat.
Yeah, so if you drive northwest, and as the crow flies, as the raven flies, it would be about 40 miles. And we've got in that same zone, depending on if you're on the mountain or down at the foothills of the mountain,
there's Carol.
You can harvest sage grouse, rough grouse, and blue grouse or dusky grouse. But yeah, it's not very far away.
Well, you go have a great big time at Cedar Point. Brenda's been to Cedar Point. It's been a long time. I never have.
Cedar Point.
But I hate
my uncle, my favorite uncle, took his family up there every year.
Dale?
Dale would take Betty and the kids up there every year. Of course, they were driving from the other direction, but
she said she was going to wave it in the general direction of your relatives, Mark. She'd be a little closer from there. All right.
I've never been. I don't even know what it is. So,
well,
I think it's like an amusement park or something.
Yeah, it is, but it's also become like one of the roller coaster meccas of the country. There's some really famous roller coasters up there now that people go. They drive for miles, just all across the country just to go ride the coasters, and that's one of their big claims. They used to have. I don't know if they still do, but they used to have either the biggest, the longest, or the fastest wooden coaster in the country that was still built, out of wood, like you used to see that scaffolding and all that stuff.
I can tell you, I've flown hundreds of hours in helicopters and jumped off the skids, and you could not put me on a roller coaster.
I used to feel that way too.
There is no way I would get. Like you got a 17-year-old that dropped out of school when he was 12, like running it, and ain't happening.
Well, I think Cedar Point's a little better than that, but yeah, I get it. That's what I used to tell somebody. They'd say, "Why don't you want to ride that stuff out at the fair? You fly airplanes." And I said, "I know who puts those bolts and nuts on an airplane."
Exactly.
I don't know about the
How recently was this piece of equipment lubed or whatever? It's
Yeah.
like,
Speaking of that, totally off the subject, I saw something online, a newspaper article, that one of the roller coasters at Universal Studios caught fire the other day, but I think it was one they were actually disassembling. I don't think there wasn't anybody on
I
it.
hope it wasn't like people were like, ah.
Yeah. Hey, they've made some movies like that. So
Oh,
anyway,
my
back to the grouse a minute. The yeah, I think about you. When I think about you hunting grouse, I think about you hunting prairie type grouse. You know, things that live in that.
sage grouse.
Don't think about rough grouse much.
But I hunt. That's what I hunt the most.
Well, I believe that you always have.
That's my favorite bird to hunt.
The Steve caught again. Back to Steve, because he's my weather vane for things like this in the past. But because he's always been a big bird hunter, and he's always had dogs, and that him and his dad were always loved to go bird hunting. Good morning, Rhonda. I can't even think. Universal Hollywood on a closed. It was a closed ride. Okay, yeah, I thought it was. I knew there wasn't anybody on it. I was wondering I think they were taking it apart. I was just sitting there thinking, okay, who had the flame wrench, and what did they catch fire while they were cutting through some steel? But may not have been. Flame wrench is a torch, cutting torch, slang word. Anyway, they used to hunt around here a lot too, and up in the mountains above, in the Cumberlands above Oak Ridge and that area, and which is all part of the Appalachians, but it's a different section. Anyway, and he says that the one possibly if the redeeming feature of strip mining or bench mining is the open mining like they do around here mostly. The one benefit of that might have been the fact that especially then, how they let things grow back. They didn't take care of it.
They
Okay.
made lots of rough grouse habitat.
And they had lots of rough grouse because there was lots of rough grouse habitat. That as it started to grow back, and there was a period there when those areas would be just perfect for rough grouse habitat. And then they would grow up but nothing was being done in them. They were just, this was back when coal company just walked away and left their mess. But there was that one benefit to wildlife was that, and that was hard. I mean, there's a lot of bad things happen too, but because you had to be careful when you were hunting those areas about not stepping in an acid pit or something. You know, there's a lot of stream pollution and acid runoff and all that kind of stuff. But it did create grouse habitat. Now that habitat's grown over, you see a few, but you don't see many. And
well, and that's what's happened in like southern Ohio and northeast Kentucky.
Right.
When
Same thing.
When my grandpa was a boy, there was tons of farms. They had cut a lot of timber, lots of farms, and they had bobwhites everywhere. And then by the time I came along, all that had grown up into, large shrubs and small trees, and the rough grouse were just nuts. It was great from my standpoint. It was great.
Well, the habitat transformed,
and then all that went out of favor.
Yeah,
and those forests back there have matured again, and it's wild turkey habitat now. It's not,
and it's great wild turkey habitat.
And rough grouse are gone, as far as I'm concerned. And there are places where rough grouse have been really hit hard by West Nile virus.
I thought about that.
Like Pennsylvania, where rough grouse was king.
Yeah.
They got whacked over there, and they've been sampling for it all throughout the northern and central Appalachia region, and somehow West Virginia seems to have got a pass on it because their birds are still doing pretty well. But a lot of that country, it's just like, it was just like the 1-2 they got hit by changing habitat and
West Nile
virus.
That's it. I didn't know about the West Nile and
And we've had West Nile and sage grouse in kind of northeastern Wyoming.
Oh yeah,
really decimated those populations. So
wow, man, I tell you what, you just don't know what's gonna. We have just continued to bring nasty crap into this country. Can you imagine?
That's what Sal and I were talking about yesterday. It's like we just keep figuring out new ways to do. I don't know what that was.
Hang on, man.
What are you listening to?
Okay.
I thought I was gonna. Oh my God.
Do you recognize that child, man?
Yes, I recognize that child.
That's her ringtone. She must be. Brenda, is she doing are we missing yet another show of hers today? She must be.
Tell her that clowns are not cool.
What?
Tell her that clowns are not cool.
Well, scary clowns apparently
They're
are.
not scary clowns, not scary. They're all scary clowns.
But I don't like. See, I don't like that whole thing. I grew up thinking clowns were wonderful, and I knew. And did you know that one of the most famous clowns in the world grew up or lived in Johnson City?
No, but hang on.
Okay, hanging on. Brenda, can you remember his name? Because right now that I brought it up, I won't be able to remember his name. He was with the Ringling Brothers for years and years. Emmett Kelly. Yeah, Emmett Kelly. Let me see if I can find his. Surely mine never. He's in Wikipedia. There he is. Oh, that's not it. There's a picture of him though. Okay, if anybody's got a clown trigger, I'm going to show you one, but he's not a scary clown to me. That's Emmett Kelly. My goodness, that is a pile of wagon wheels. His hobo clown character's name was Weary Willie. And I think he spent most of his time with the Ringling Brothers. But there used to be, I used to see little statuettes of him. I don't know who made them famous, but somebody. Did you see it, Mark? You didn't see that. That's Emmett Kelly.
Oh yeah, Emmett was cool.
Yeah, he was cool.
He's the only clown I've ever liked other than rodeo clowns.
Well, he reminded me of, Red Skelton was also a clown or did clown stuff, and he was a bum type clown like Emmett Kelly.
Yeah.
Hobo clown.
Oh, yeah, he used to do that on his show every now and again.
Yeah, he would. And I can't, but there used to be little Emmett Kelly statues. I remember, I don't know who did them, but maybe it's because he, ended up in Johnson City, but that's what I actually was going to look up. his son may be a clown also. I didn't know that. Okay. Oh my God, he died on my birthday. He actually died in Sarasota. Huh. Well, I know he lived in Johnson City for years. I'm not sure why he ended up there for a while, but he did. People used to talk about it. And he lived over near where the eye hospital was. I used to see.
John, I've been known to be a clown. Just ask my wife.
Yeah, we won't go there. No, I mean, you can ask your wife, or we'll ask your wife. Don't ask my wife.
Ask them all. Ask any wife. Yes, my husband can be a clown.
Rhonda, like she said, Puddles the clown. It's where I used to. I think she's saying it's from where I used to live. It came out Olive. She used to deliver to him. Oh, really? That's cool. Unless he was scary, but apparently he wasn't too scary. You wouldn't have talked about him. She can type, really. She can. I was like that yesterday. I couldn't type anything. I'm not saying nothing. Okay, Tina, you don't have to. Oh, about John, you mean, or clowns in general? So let's see here. He wasn't dressed in clown stuff when I
How did
delivered.
we get off on clowns?
Well, I don't know. How do we ever get off on anything?
Oh, I know how we did. Kelly sent you that photo.
Oh, yeah, my daughter. Which, again, like I said, tells me that we're missing a show. So I don't know. We need to find out where she's at today, Brenda. I don't think I got a message. That Three Blind Mice thing is, which might sound cruel, but it's not meant to be. I don't know. Somehow that just doesn't surprise me all that much. She got invited to do a Ren Fest. Tina said, "How did we get the clowns? Squirrels, Mark. Thanks, squirrel." She got invited to do a Renaissance festival with her art down.
Really?
Just below Morristown here, not too far from us. So I think that's in a couple of weeks.
And she got an invite?
Yeah, she got invited to go. Now she may have sent something to them to ask, but she got these things. I guess they get a lot of. She's learning this, but the festivals and the events she's gotten into have been based on recommendations and referrals and that kind of thing. So, if people like your stuff, they talk about you and you get into these sort of events. And the last one she went to, I think she sold like 64. Did I do the math on that? 60% of what she took, she sold.
Cool.
Her art stuff. So she's been making stuff and getting stuff ready for her next shows. Mark, back to the question I asked earlier. Can you relocate the grouse from West Virginia to places hit by the West Nile?
I don't know, Tina. I mean, you certainly can relocate the grouse, but whether the mosquitoes are still spreading West Nile in that location, you might move birds and just because they're not hard to trap and move. But if you move birds and you still got like what mosquito-borne West Nile virus, you're just kind of wasting your time.
Yeah, sometimes that's a good thing, Tina, and sometimes it's not. Like Mark's saying, in this case, because the West Nile's still out there, it might not matter. I mean, you might spend their money and then they die anyway. But the thing is, they could hit unless they find out that West Virginia grouse are somehow have an immunity to it or something. If that was the case, then that'd be a pretty good deal.
We spent like $1 gazillion trapping sage grouse in Wyoming and moving them to southwest North Dakota because their birds had been extirpated or gone. And I don't remember how much money got spent on that project, but it was a lot. And we trapped a lot of birds and moved them up there. And they, the habitat was kind of substandard. And the West Nile came in and they're gone again. They're all
So this time West Nile got them.
What's that?
So this time West Nile got them as opposed
Well, and the fact that the habitat was
still wasn't what they needed.
Wasn't.
Well, okay.
It wasn't optimum habitat conditions for that bird. So it didn't have enough sagebrush or anything.
Is Sal in the wildlife business too?
Yeah, he's a habitat biologist in Idaho.
Oh, well, see, he needs to slide in there. Or is he gone?
He's gone.
Oh, man.
That's why I had to get up a minute ago.
Oh.
Give him a big old squeeze.
Well,
So it's weird. I met him, I don't know how long ago now, 98, 99, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
He worked in Nebraska. And then I went in about 2002, I went to Arizona to work I didn't last very long down there because
you were down there a couple of years, though, weren't you?
I couldn't stand it. 4 years. There were just too many people. And the day I showed up in Arizona was the day that Sal showed up in Arizona. And the very first email I ever got, I worked in a different building than him. He was in the habitat section. I was in game division. And the very first email I ever got was from Sal. Like, is this the same Mark Zorns that worked in eastern Wyoming? Because he had come. And I'm like, yep.
Small world.
We've been palling around for a long time. But
Did he work for Idaho Game and Fish? Or what?
So he lasted, I think he lasted in Arizona 2 years past when I came back to Wyoming. He lasted a couple more years, and then he went to Idaho, Fish and Game. And he works out of the headquarters in Boise.
That's not to say, just for the record, that's not to say that everything about the Arizona Game and Fish or living in Arizona is bad. It's just that
I love the state.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand the people.
Well, it was hot too. Let's face it, a little bit. Maybe you got used to that better than
I got used to that part, but I just couldn't like the density of human beings and dealing with those people.
Yeah.
Just I was too rural for that state. There are parts of the state I could have worked in and probably been happy the rest of my life if I'd been southeast Arizona or up like on the Kaibab or somewhere like that. But
away from Phoenix.
Yeah, and all the other gazillions of towns and humans that they have. I was just, I had moved out of Phoenix. I lived an hour north of Phoenix.
Right. I remember that.
Anytime we lived at like, I don't know, almost 5,000 feet elevation. And anytime it snowed up where I lived, you could have people from Phoenix come up there and stop in your yard and build snowmen and like have snowball fights and things. And I'm like, I got to get the heck out of this place. It's, and crime was pretty bad and it wasn't for me.
Yeah. That's interesting. Somebody should do a habitat study on people.
Yeah.
and habitats because it'd be interesting if you put it in wildlife terms. Well, anyway, I mean, let's get down to the next thing I'm going to talk about today because this was a little bit of a squirrel too, but not. But there's a reason for it. Well, there's a reason for everything I
It's
do.
an actual squirrel.
Well, part of it is, but it's because of. Well, I'll explain it just in a minute.
My dogs. My dogs. My dogs.
I gotta think while I'm doing something. It's hard for me sometimes.
My dogs.
Okay. Now I can't see you very well, so
Who?
right now because I got you covered up on my screen. So if you
Oh.
need, don't wave your hands like this. Say, "Hey Tim, wait a minute." All right. Now, oh shoot. Of course, when I get it all set up, then I realize I forgot one little important detail. I didn't turn it on. So you guys could see it. So I've got a problem. Well, first off, let me get through the housekeeping here. I should do that probably. Why can I never find it? There. So anyway, as usual, hit that like button. If you're still here, hit the like button. I hope Sal hits the like button when he gets home. I hope he signs up and joins us some for Saturday Morning Shine. That'd be interesting to get another opinion here. And talk bird hunting a little bit. Not that anybody else wants to hear about it, but oh, and Ian's not here. Oh man. Okay, I got this just for Ian, and I was hoping he would be here today.
Oh, it's a training film.
That's a good one. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but let me start it because I want you guys to see part of it or get what it is anyway. I'm going to skip ahead here a little bit. Okay, this is a film came out in World War II to train Army Air Force personnel how to put together a P-47 Thunderbolt on the field. It says uncrating and assembly of the P-47 Thunderbolt airplane presented by the Army Air Force's School of Applied Tactics, made in cooperation with Republic Aviation Corporation, 1943. Republic Aviation is who built the P-47. P-47 was also known as the Jug. The methods shown in this picture were especially derived to meet the field conditions, making it possible to assemble P-47 Thunderbolt airplane without heavy lifting equipment or special tools. Obviously, if hangar facilities are available, I don't know why they threw that part in there. But just to realize that they do this, and I mean, I should know they did this. They couldn't fly all of these planes overseas during World War II. So they had to have a way to ship them and get them on the field. And then some guy that had training like I had would put the things back together. Now look at these old trucks. I think are cool. Look at the packages these are coming in. Look how large these crates and things are. Can you hear that?
To make this possible, a simple, practical method of uncrating and assembly has been devised, by which the P-47, although it weighs nearly
Sort of.
can be ready for battle without the aid of special equipment, such as heavy jacks, cranes, or hoists.
I just love this video, though. I'm not going to show much more of it. I'm going to save it for Ian. But
The only equipment needed
yeah, I turned the volume back up, Tina. I had turned it down for a minute.
and the shipping cases themselves.
Now, some guy some engineer or some technician sit down and figure out how we build these crates. How can we use them?
Don't take them off until you've read the instructions.
I gotta let you watch.
End of either of the shipping.
I'm gonna let it play just long enough for you to see see them take them apart. I thought that's typical military guys here. They're just, you know, not the most gentle things.
Cases.
Of course, they had to get all the numbers and mil spec stuff off of them.
Important. Do not remove shipping cases from trucks until after you have read these instructions.
Reckon how many times that
The
happened?
instructions are simple but important. Each step must be carefully followed. The instruction book should be read completely so that the crew chief may have an overall picture of the job to be done. Then he can go to work. First, the truck bearing the wing case is drawn up behind the fuselage case. This provides an elevated surface on which the men can stand while removing the fuselage.
So the first thing
case
is you're
top.
using the other truck to get
The
up there.
fuselage case must remain on the truck. The top of the fuselage case is removed in one piece.
Obviously,
Take out
that's
the
not
lag
the case.
screws.
The top they're removing there. It was a covering.
And pry up one end with a crowbar. This end is held up with a short piece of timber wedged into place. Two or three lag screws, which are inserted in each corner of the top, serve as towing posts, around which is looped the length of 1-inch rope.
Towing post.
Now, with manpower, the top is dragged off the case onto the ground. After the lag screws have been removed from one of the sides, this panel can simply fall to the ground. And the other side is removed in the same way. Then,
Delicately
the
with
case
your
are
foot.
taken off.
Now they just got through saying that you needed to take care of these box parts needed to be kept because you got to use them, and they're just throwing them off the truck. That first piece they drug off there was so long that when it hit the ground, if you noticed, it buckled and broke right in the middle.
We're going to need those stringers all through the job. They are pried loose from the sides of the case. They are sawed through the middle. And the two halves are nailed firmly together. Now we are ready to unload the wing case and remove its contents. For this job, you need a pair of skids and the 1-inch rope. Hey, go easy. That case weighs over 3 tons. When its top has been pulled off, the sides and ends of the wing case are removed by the same methods used on the fuselage case. After the hinge fittings in the wing case have been loosened, approximately 50 men, using the fuselage side stringer section,
50 men.
carry the wings out of the case and place them on the ground.
Only the Army could get 50 guys to go in the same direction at one time together. Well, or military. Let me back up. Don't want to upset any Marines.
Is being turned over so that the landing gear is on the underside for convenience later on in assembly.
You weren't going to make us watch this whole thing.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Believe it or not, the whole thing is 40-some minutes long. And
Whoop.
and but that somebody has broken them down into 10-minute sections, and which I thought was convenient because I would love to say I could sit here and watch it. Honestly, I think it's fascinating that they figured out how to do that in a war environment where the guys wouldn't have to have jacks or hangers, knowing that they may be putting these things together, in the middle of combat for that matter. I mean, think about that. They're unloading all that stuff. Any Luftwaffe pilot that saw that would have to attack because they know those are airplanes being built down there.
Right.
They're going to be up against them, and actually airplanes that were by and large superior to the ones they were flying at that moment. So this week has been really, the last couple of weeks, we have started getting cool temperatures. It has finally cooled off here now to where it feels like a real fall for a change. This morning I walked out here and it was 50 or 51. It was supposed to get down in the 40s in some areas. Right here on the side of this hill, I didn't look at the actual weather. I just went by our thermostat or we have a thermometer, a smart thermometer in the house that actually has an outside reading, but I think it gets its reading from the National Weather Service. So I don't know exactly where they take it. I think it's at the airport, or it could even be Morristown, so it might be a little bit off. But it was definitely in the 50s, if not upper 40s, when I walked out here this morning. So I got on a long sleeve shirt, and it's been killing me because we've talked about squirrels lately and cook-offs and squirrel hunters, and I just, man, I want to go. I want to go squirrel hunting so bad. So I came up with this idea. I said, it's squirrel season and I have a problem. Hi, my name is Tim and I was a squirrel hunter. I still am a squirrel hunter. I just hadn't been in for ages. And I don't mean I meant to warn you about this image just in case it bothers you. But I thought I'd give two perspectives here. There's our view and the squirrel's view. And that's kind of the squirrel's view looking back, if he was looking back. For me, and the reason I say for me is because I don't see so good anymore. I mean, not like I used to. And so I'm having a little bit of trouble, seeing my sights. I've always hunted with a rifle, 22 rifle, and it's got pretty fine sights on it. And I was always able to, as Mark and I've said, we prefer headshots, and never had a problem with it before now.
It's the only one my dad counted.
Yeah, it's the only one your dad counted.
It wasn't my preference, but it's the only one that Dad.
Well, I never had a problem. I didn't have a problem with it because I never ate squirrel brains anyway. I don't know my family.
My grandpa did, and he had a problem with it.
Yeah, well, Sylvie did too, as I recall. I remember him fussing about that. He said, "You guys are always shooting squirrels."
Shoot them in the. Yeah, Ken Sylvie ate them. My grandpa, both of my grandpas ate them.
So what bothered I put down there, this is only appreciated by some of us. I know for many of you, this is a disturbing image, and it is for me as well. Why would anyone aim for the squirrel's front shoulder when they could clearly have a perfect headshot? So that was just a thing, but that I'm going to have to find something and put aside.
We're getting banned for life, dude.
Yeah, but I need something with an optical sight on it now. I just can't see the sights, especially in the woods because it's darker. And these little guys like to hide in the crooks of trees and places where they make. I mean, they don't make it easy for you. Just because it may look like it's easy, it's not. So these are two of my favorites. These are two of my favorite squirrel rifles that I own. And I couldn't stand it any longer Thursday, and I threw a block of wood out. This is what's left part of it right here. It's end off a 1x2 or 1x4 or a 2x, not a 2x. That's a 1x4. Chunked it out in the yard, and I got my rifle out, and I put a couple rounds through it just because I had to smell the gunpowder, and I just wanted to hear it crack, and I wanted to see if I could hit anything. And I did, but I have to wear. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to see anything with glass. I found out that I can wear my glasses. I think my other pair work better, which I don't have with me. But it's my distance pair, and I could actually see that front sight. And if you look up here, this is not my rifle, but it looks just exactly like one of my rifles. And it's got that little bitty front sight, and it's got a little bitty notch back here, and it just don't show up. Now I did do something on mine, Mark. I don't know if you.
What is that?
It's a Remington rolling block model number 4.
Oh,
And mine is a 22, and this is supposed to be a 22. Mine will shoot 22 shorts and 22 long. And I'm going to buy me now. I found out you can buy longs now.
it won't shoot long rifles.
Well, it probably wasn't chambered for them when it came out. They didn't have long rifles.
Yeah.
And but that's okay. I shoot shorts anyway most of the time. But I changed my front sight on mine so I've got like a more what you'd see on a muzzle loader. It's dovetailed in like these are, but it's like a German silver blade in the front, so it's a little bit more obvious. But now this one at the bottom is an example of my boyhood rifle. My dad gave me one of these. They're nothing special. Both of these are single shots. This little Remington is a 514 Remington. It's nothing, like I said, nothing special about them, even though they're old, so AKA vintage, which makes everything more expensive now. If you just say, oh, that's vintage, it can be an empty pop bottle. Oh, that's a vintage pop bottle. I drank that 3 weeks ago. And suddenly it's worth more money. And anyway, that's another story. And I just love this little rifle because I could shoot with it. And I mean, I could shoot with it. And that's not bragging. Somebody used to say that's no brag, just fact. And I used to set out behind my house when Brenda and I first got married. We had this little house out in the country. Mark was there, and I had a concrete pad out back. And I used to sit out there. I was working night shift, especially, and I'd sit on that back porch and I'd set up little targets, and I'd shoot at pop bottle caps and things of that size. And I would swing a golf ball from a tree on a string, and I wasn't hitting the golf ball. I was cutting the string. I just prided myself in being able to do that. And I practiced, and I did it pretty regular. And I shot bees. That was the other thing. My grandpa used to have me go out in the backyard and shoot the big wasp and yellow jackets. Another reason why my thing about the jacket. And he would literally hand me his model 66 nylon 66 Remington and a box of shells and say, here, boy, shoot bees off my apple tree. And I did. Now, I don't know if he meant for me to shoot them on the wing or if he meant for me to shoot them up in the tree or on the ground, but I shot them up in the tree, and I probably shot a few on the wing because I got to where I could do that. It wasn't about aiming. It's about hand-eye coordination. And you just sort of learn. It's like shooting a bow. Mark knows how this works. You learn to shoot a bow if you shoot instinctively. And that's why I could flip a Pop-Tart up in the air and Mark could draw back and hit it. Maybe not every time, but pretty regular. Regular enough that it wasn't just, happenstance. Same thing with a little rifle. So this was the two I used. So I got both of these out and fired a few rounds into my wooden block here the other day.
Just that story reminds me of Jed Clampett saying they were shooting flies off that wall over there. If you hit a bee, you lose your turn.
And whoever it was that he was talking to, which is probably
he was talking to Mr. Drysdale.
He said, "You mean to tell me you're hitting flies on that wall from here?" And
oh no, we hit them on the wing. And if you hit a bee, you lose your turn.
If you hit them when they're on when they land, you lose your turn, or you lose a point or something. Anyway, hillbilly marksmanship was renowned.
Tim has a deep-seated hatred of buzzing creatures.
Well, it could be. I miss. Oh, John used to have a Ruger 1022. Excellent rifle.
That's a lovely little rifle.
Lots of people like squirrel brains. John, have you ever eaten squirrel brains? Since you brought it up. Tina said attention span, Tim. It's all about attention span.
We always mixed them with eggs. So
Yeah,
you had scrambled eggs, and you'd put squirrel brains in with the scrambled eggs.
You literally scramble the brains with the eggs, or you
just dropped them in the egg and then scrambled the whole mess up, mash up.
So this of course led me down another path, a little slightly path. I wasn't necessarily going this way for a story today or tale today or a show today, but it kind of ended up that way. And then, it's this urge to get out in the woods and hunt a little bit. It's just been driving me nuts, making me itch all over. And I'm gonna start doing it. I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna keep saying I'm gonna get out in the woods, and with my bow too. So I went.
John said he has never had squirrel brains, but he ate rabbit.
Oh, in France, yeah.
In France.
Oh, he's never had a squirrel, but they eat a lot of rabbits in I think you're in England and most of your mainland Europe. I think that rabbits, they raise them and I started to say something I didn't want to say. Harvest.
They have wild rabbits too over there.
Yeah, they do. They do. Very true. So anyway, this little rifle was called that I was showing you. The one on top is a number 4 rolling block. And whoops, got ahead of myself there, as I do. This thing, they were built from 1901 to 1926, and mine was what they called a takedown. So that means it comes apart, and you can put it in your saddlebag, or you can put it in your wrap it up in your bedroll, or whatever.
Like my little Stevens crack shot.
Which I'm going to talk about that too in a minute. They built 356,000 of these things. If they built from 1 to that number, which is the serial number range, which if they even marked them, I'm not sure mine's even got a serial number on it. I bet it does under the barrel somewhere, and I just don't remember. I hadn't had it apart in years. I'm going to, though, this weekend. I bet I have it apart because I love to do that.
Probably under the forestock.
That's what I'm thinking, or on the tang, the top.
It'd be on the tang.
I saw a picture of one. It looked to me like was the underside of the tang, so I'm going to do that. And mine has a chip missing in the buttstock right up here by the lock works, the receiver, whatever you want to call this metal chunk right here. And I got to looking online. You can still buy these things, new old stock. People have them for sale. And the buttstock is about $100 that I saw. So you can still find
just for the buttstock. Not just for the buttstock.
Just for the buttstock, yeah. So they made these things. They also made them shoot. Rimfire was a big thing when these kind of rifles came out. And I didn't know this. Thought, well, I'll do a story about that. I'm not sure anybody appreciated it either. But the 22 rifle cartridge was Winchester's very first metallic cartridge, the 22 rimfire, and I didn't know that.
Really?
Yeah, I came across that while reading this, and which was, I think, the first metallic cartridge in the United States, and it was a black powder cartridge. I don't know if they had those in Europe yet or not. the smokeless powder originated in France, John. Just as a note, in 1886 is when they invented smokeless powder, and for a long time, several years at least, that was a huge military secret in France because they didn't want everybody else to know about it. France, Europe was just a hodgepodge of one war after another. They were all fighting against each other, worse than here. Anyway, they made these. I mean, there were 32 shorts, 32 longs, 25 Stevens. Mark, I never heard of a 25 Stevens, which might be an interesting cartridge.
Well, I found a cartridge the other day in the desert that I think it's a 22 long Colt.
Oh, really? 22 long Colt.
And it's an old, I found it at a really old place out in the desert. And
That's it?
that's the cartridge.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's anyway, I love old cartridges. I
Yeah, I do too.
snatched it up off the ground, and
You don't see many like that back east, but out there you could find one on the ground. I get that. So anyway, they made this in several versions. The improved number 4, and I don't know what that variation really is. They made a Boy Scout rifle and a military version. And you might ask, why would they make a military version of that? Well, they did it for training, and this design, and I think I've got a picture that shows it better. Let me go to the next slide. This design, like it's in this upper right-hand corner, this rolling block design was really strong and easy to make, relatively speaking. And they sold these things Remington did, all over the world. Now, not just 22s, military style cartridges, but the mechanism's all the same. And so they made military versions of the 22 rifle to train and sell overseas in places where they still use the rolling block. There were rolling block rifles still being used in Central and South America up until probably World War II.
well, I think Dad's got one of these that's like a way bigger bore, like a 44 or something.
Yeah.
Like a heavyweight,
Yeah.
big game kind of rifle.
I've always wanted to build.
But they're still beautiful, like slender wooden butt stock.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't have a butt plate on them.
Well, this one does. Mine has a steel butt plate.
Oh, it does.
Yeah. But they sold them everywhere. And something your dad told me. In fact, I've got an old number 1 action that your dad gave me one time that I'd like to build into a target rifle or something someday, or a hunting rifle. But I want to make it in a small, like a 22 Colt not the 22 Colt, but a 22 Hornet or something like that size to shoot. I don't necessarily need a 45-70, but they sold these things they sold literally millions of them overseas to different armies. Nations bought them and built them, and they sold tons of them in South America to the point where a lot of people see them and they'll say, "Oh, is that a Spanish 7mm?" And because there was a 7mm cartridge, which is probably something similar off of Mauser.
Oh, they're Mauser.
They favored it in South America, but anyway, these were very common.
That's it. That's what they were shooting in Cuba.
Yeah, Mauser.
The Spanish were when we fought them in Cuba.
So this thing, what was I going to say?
How'd that work out for us?
Well, that one did. Oh crap. Anyway, this little rifle, it has this. Oh, I'm pointing with my finger. You can't see my finger. This lever right here, when you turn it, push it up. It's got a reverse thread on it. Push it up, and it releases the barrel, and you can take it apart. They made a lot of rifles this way because they were easier to transport back in days of yore. People would put them in their suitcases and put them on the train or whatever when they were going.
Was that an octagon barrel?
Yes, it is. This one is an octagon barrel.
Okay.
Now, they made another version of it, this version, which has a round barrel. This is the military style. This one was actually made for the Boy Scouts. Now, there were two kinds of Boy Scouts for a while back then. And this one was made, listen to me. This one was made for the American Boy Scouts, not Boy Scouts of America, which is the group that still exists today. The first one, I believe, was started by William Randolph Hearst, of all people. I'm not sure. He's probably what we need.
Who also was involved with the Spanish Mauser.
Had something to do with, many people think he started that war so he'd have something to write and sell his newspapers. The American Boy Scouts were started in 1910, and then eventually became the BSA Anyway, if I had it backwards there, but this was how the military rifle was also made. These were actually branded. I've never seen, maybe I have. I don't know if I've ever seen one in person, but I think they say Boy Scout rifle somewhere on the barrel or on the receiver. But that version of the Boy Scouts were somewhat more like a military academy kind of idea, cadet sort of idea, not the version that our friends created that eventually became the BSA. But anyway, just a neat little history on that rifle gun. The Remington that I've got was made. The other Remington I've got, just so happens both of those are Remington rifles, was a 514, and they made that up till 1970. And the reason I put this lower picture in is because there's what mine looks like. No sights. I mean, regular sights, no scope. And I think it's going to have to look like this if I'm going to use it to squirrel hunt again. Because I just can't see the sights well enough to hunt. If I'm going to go out there, I want to be able to hit what I'm shooting at. I don't want to just, This is actually a short video about this rifle. Let me, just for a moment, bear with. And an ad from somebody's sponsor, not mine.
My biologist company.
What I got out here at the range today, the little Remington model 514 22. Now these are an inexpensive little single shot rifle, and
AKA
thought I'd get it out there and do a little shooting with it. Nothing fancy at all about these, but this one does have a lot of sentimental value to me because it belonged to my uncle. So I'll get this camera put on a tripod and we'll put a few rounds through this today, and
now, the reason
at least a little bit of the shooting on camera.
Somehow I made this too big here, guys. Bear with me a second. I got to figure out how to make it slightly smaller.
Whether you're
Come on. What in the heck? Well, once again.
Gotta watch the commercials, man.
Well, I don't want to watch a commercial. I'm trying to stop it, period. I don't want to continue it at all. There. Now. Can you guys still see that? No, you cannot. See, I'm going to start it over. I'm not going to run the video over. I'm just going to, I got to load you back into the screen here. So anyway, that's what I've got. That's one of mine anyway. Now I'm going to move on to something Mark will be a little bit more interested in. Here's why I played that. For for the same reason that guy has a soft spot for that little rifle, so does I, and that is because my case, that was my dad's rifle, and he gave it to me as my first rifle. One could say my first gun. That sounds kind of different. Not trying to, again, no trigger warnings there. Pardon the pun. But anyway, that makes it a little bit more important. And like I said, it shoots like a laser beam, so that's all I cared about. Did to me anyway. Where's my button? I've totally lost myself here. So I'll just move on without it. What have I done?
I don't know.
Well, you know what?
I see your slides on the side, maybe.
Oh, you do. You're seeing all of that. I know what I've done. I've stopped. Let me back up here. Pulled in the wrong screen. Sorry. And that's because I got to do this. Duh. I don't think the kids say duh anymore, but it's very pertinent to me, or it probably explains a lot. Okay. I got to cancel. You guys still can't see it, can you?
Uh-uh. Something's happening.
Now you can.
There's the guy again with
Yeah,
the
let me
video.
see. I got to figure, why is that locked on? We don't want to watch that. We want to escape from that.
Was it?
Oh my God. All right. I know what to do. Sorry. I don't know why that's doing that. So that's not, a good thing for me to admit to. Dang. God. Hang on. Guys, I'm sorry. What an idiot.
Good morning, Miss Julie.
I know what I'm doing. I've got to go back and do this again. I think I'm having brain. I've got gas on the brain, so as to be polite.
Oh, no.
Now, here we go. So now, can you see it now?
No.
Damn it. Now you should see it.
I see it now.
All right, and I think I've got it fixed now. So we'll go back. So I couldn't do this. I felt like that was totally unfair. If I didn't show a couple of your little growing up kind of single shots. Yeah, I've got two here, and I think you had both of these at one time.
Dad has like a full set.
Yeah,
basically.
I know. He's got a bunch.
He's got that real heavy bow-barreled one, and he's got 2 or 3 favorites, and he's got a crack shot, and maybe some other cooler ones even.
He's got
rare ones.
Yeah.
And then that rifle at the bottom was my first rifle.
Crack shot.
Yep. And there's forward of the lever,
Yeah, right here.
there's a screw right there, and you take that screw out, and the barrel comes off. It's kind of a takedown. And I used to put that in my backpack and take it to school and give it to the principal. And he'd hold on to it for the day. And then I could take that and go and squirrel hunt home. I could walk home and squirrel hunt all the way home.
And that's a favorite.
And you'd go to like the federal penitentiary today if you tried to do something like that.
Yeah, it wouldn't happen.
Heck, they can't even have a pocket knife anymore.
No. That top one is a favorite model. I don't think all favorites are takedowns, but this one is. That picture is a takedown favorite.
Yeah, I think Dad's got one that's a takedown, and Dad's got one that's not a takedown.
And that's what they look like when they come apart. So that was a style, and that came from the 1800s when they started making these things, and they made them like that so that they could carry them when they traveled on the train, put it in their saddlebag, whatever. And that wasn't to sneak it in someplace. That was just convenience. Sort of like having a takedown bow, like you made to take to Africa. You could take it apart and you could carry it in your suitcase or whatever you put it in. So anyway, that's what we grew up. Both of us kind of grew up shooting different ones. Nowadays, this is what I have to think about. And, I'm going to have something with a scope on it. Maybe not that big, but I just found that picture on it. I found a 514 like I've got with that kind of a big old scope on it. I thought, now that would work. But I also found a couple of pictures of the old rifles. I don't know if I put them in here, honestly. And with the old style telescopic sights, things. I do have a picture. Now that bottom picture, just so you know, is a Thompson.
Your favorite pistol.
That is also a 22. So that'd be a good squirrel gun if you.
Is that a contender?
Yeah, it's a contender.
What, that's in 22?
With a 22 barrel on it and a scope on it for small game.
I'll be darned.
Or well, I don't know if they use scopes much for any kind of sport or competition, but I've always thought I'd like to have one of those for that purpose. Now, this is what I found a couple of pictures of these. That top one is actually a Tasco modern made replica of a 1903, what were telescopic sights back then. So, Mark, you could put one of these on a crack shot and it wouldn't look out of place at all.
That's kind of cool.
It is kind of cool. So, what I really was going to talk about before the squirrel hunting bug hit me so bad was after last week we talked about the squirrel cook-off, and that got me looking around, and there's lots and lots of wild game cook-offs around the country. You could probably find one near you, and sorry to hear that, but we're glad you're visiting us. Oh, what?
That's the gun that I need.
Oh, Julie out in a funeral. Oh no, Julie, we're sorry to hear that too. What? Just out of curiosity, what part of Tennessee are you in? Brenda says that's the gun she needs. Which one? the contender or that single shot or that crack shot? Anyway, so I just pulled up. So I borrowed this cook-off from Kansas. They have a big cook-off there that supports their wildlife department and their parks department. And a lot of western states, more than the eastern, but a lot of the western states, the Department of what I would call a game and fish agency or a fish and game agency, depending on where you're from. is separate. In a lot of states out west, I know when there are more departments of the state, they're often mixed with the parks and recreation people. I know Texas is that way. But anyway, they do cook-offs. And not just wild game cook-offs, but almost all of these have either are wild game or they're having a wild game division. So that one there, for example, the Kansas one. This was an ad for their upcoming 2025 show or event, which is this month. And if I lived in Kansas, we could go to it. And this one supports the Baker University Wetlands Discovery Center as part of what's going on here and some other things. But, seasoned home cook or classically trained chefs are there. So these things have become pretty popular. And, here's the categories for them. You've got wild game, deer, rabbit, squirrel, upland game birds, migratory birds, turkey, etc., wild fish, bass, walleye, catfish, crappie, whoppers, etc. And I'll have to explain what a whopper is. That term I'm not extremely familiar with, except that I know that's a hybrid.
White bass striper.
That's a white bass striper. Okay.
Yep.
We just call those hybrids back here. They also do wild plants. So they do nettles. Were you and I talking about cooking nettles?
I never have thought about it.
Maybe Brendan and I were watching a show and this guy was doing nettles and prepared nettles. That could even have been the British Farm Show. Somebody was cooking.
The only nettles I know sting you.
Yeah, well, me too. But apparently you can't eat them if you know what you're doing. Wild chives, purslane, chickweed, dandelions, which a lot of us know about dandelions. You can make wine or greens them. Wild mushrooms, morels, chicken of the woods, hen of the woods, oysters, etc. Wild sweets, which would include your fruits, your berries, and that sort of thing. And I thought this was interesting. Wild invasive / nuisance species such as garlic mustard, white perch, Asian carp, autumn olive, etc. I've eaten autumn olives back here are a problem in some places. I don't know, you guys had them much out there, or you have something different. But anyway, they planted them back east in the 40s and probably 50s, 60s. I saw some people planting them in the 80s. They weren't supposed to be.
Yeah, I don't know if we have autumn olives. We have Russian olives.
You have Russian olives, I know. And I'm not sure. I think they're related, but I don't think they're exactly the same.
Yeah, I don't think they're the same critter.
But I tell you what, when autumn olives are in full bloom and then they fruit here, my God, they can be loaded. I've always wanted to go through the woods and pick enough to make jelly because I've eaten them off the vine and they're good, but they're small. They're kind of like, I guess, currants, but maybe smaller. Yeah. I'm not sure how big your currants get, but birds absolutely love autumn olives, which is why they were planted for erosion, but they were also planted as a wildlife food in clearings and mining sites and things like that. Well, the birds love them. I mean, they just flock to them. And of course, you know what birds do? They spread the seed. So they became very invasive and
well, and that's what happened with Russian olives out here. They used them for hedgerows and if you're in the prairie or out here in the desert, you'd plant Russian olives for hedgerows. And wildlife love that plant.
Yeah, and they love autumn.
But human beings have now decided it's a bad one, and so they're trying real hard to eradicate it. But it's like, deer and pheasants and sharp-tailed grouse and whatever love that plant.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it doesn't have it has It has more of a nut than it has a berry on it.
Oh, you mean on a Russian olive?
Russian olives.
Well, autumn olives have fruit, and they have some, but they don't really have a nut. They have seeds, but they're not nut like. I mean, you
Yeah.
can't help but eat them because they're small and they're in there. But and the birds eat them, and then the birds poop them all over the countryside. And pretty soon you can have autumn olives everywhere. If you There's places here where you can look and you'll see little patches of them just all over the field or those guys woodlot and they're an edge top plant, like you said. They make good hedgerows.
Well, remember when we went and picked all the wild plums before we
Yeah,
went elk hunting?
yeah.
Those shelter belts, as they call them, were full of Russian olives and wild plum. And the wild plum is a native plant, and the Russian olive, of course, is not. But they make a good wildlife feeding spot.
Yes, they do. And that's why one of the reasons they were planted originally. And
Yeah.
but then, like Mark said, we've decided they're not. So here's how that works. One of the ways that works
And
now.
we were our agency was planting them like
Oh,
everywhere.
so did mine at
Yeah.
one time. But I don't know. But now you guys could still plant them. I don't know, but we couldn't plant them because we were a federal agency. And
No,
as a federal agency, we
they
can't plant
became
them.
they got labeled as a noxious weed, and nobody's allowed to plant them anymore. Private, public, whoever.
Okay, John. John has a question,
About snakeheads.
and that's a good question, John. I had to look it up because I wasn't 100% sure what the current status was. Snakehead was the first northern snakehead specifically was found in Tennessee. They were found here in 2006 in a small lake that's in middle to west Tennessee, I think Poplar Lake. Poplar Tree Lake. I've never been there, but I have looked at that on a map. And so it is here as an invasive species. What makes these things so bad is they're a predatory air breathing fish. They're native to Asia and they pose a huge threat to almost every other species in the water. If you encounter them, they want you to, our state agency, TWRA, Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, wants you to document it, take a picture, note the location, and contact them so they know where they're at. Because basically, what's going to happen if they find out that there's a pond that's got snakeheads in it, they're going to come in and eradicate that pond. They're going to come in and kill. Unfortunately, they're going to kill everything that's in it. And if they don't, pretty soon all it's going to be in it's going to be snakeheads. I don't know how long it would take, but it happens. They don't want you to put them back in the water. Immediately kill it, and they would like for you to freeze it. Now, some people won't do that. Take pictures, focus on its mouth, fins, and tail, record the location, and report the sighting to your local agency like TWRA. And like I said, in most cases, they'd like for you to freeze it and bring it to them. And they're a problem because they're not native to here or anywhere in North America. They're voracious predators. They have very sharp teeth, and they eat a lot of small, fish. I'm not sure how big they get here.
Well, I'd heard that, Florida's got terrible problems with them and well, all the way up the East Coast.
Yeah.
And I'd heard that the Asian fish food, not fish food, but food fishes market brought them here.
Yeah, because they ate them over there. If I believe they are.
No, they wanted them for food.
Right. Same thing with some carp.
And to sell in the market. And there's a couple of species of them, and they're all
cracker.
They're all bad for North America. at
Yeah,
least.
we should probably talk about some of those species again sometime. I don't know if we've talked about them. I don't know if we've ever done a focus show on those. That'd be a good one to talk about some of the really problem invasive species, such as the silver carp, for example. I think
Or
that
the,
one got here
or
more or less,
the European sterling or the English sparrow.
which nobody's ever. I tell you what would fix those. If they were edible, if people ate them, we could probably cut their populations way down.
Well, I saw I have a English sparrow removal, house sparrow removal service that lives here at the house occasionally. And I got to see him like pop one off the feeder the other day.
Oh,
So
did he really? Excellent. I thought he'd decided not to. Jihad wasn't working on those guys. John, I've got a question about that now that we've talked about it.
fed bird is a fed bird, buddy.
Yeah, that's true. Before I change the screen and move on, how bad are they up your way? I mean, I read somewhere about them being in New Jersey one time a few years ago, and I can't
I
remember.
heard they were awful up that way.
Well, I'm thinking that either Maryland or New Jersey, one of those states, might be the first state where they found them in the wild, or at least where they started popping up.
And it was the big one. It wasn't the species that hangs out in Florida, I don't think.
Yeah, Florida does have.
But they look like a lot of fun to fish for.
Yeah, well, yeah, and they do, and I've seen them both. I've seen people boat fishing for them. Again, I don't know if they eat them. The whole purpose is to get them out of the water, so they boat fish for them. Snakeheads and even peacock bass, because they brought peacock bass up here from South America.
And
tilapia. The place where Charlie Bucket helped us out, I think.
Yep.
Charlie Bait Bucket, or whatever his name
Bait
is.
Bucket Charlie, he's bringing them in, moving them around like, hey, these are kind of cool. I'd like to have some of these in my pond.
I wonder if we could blame television for that, because the first time I ever heard of a peacock bass was on some outdoor fishing show where they were going to Venezuela to fish for peacock bass. And
so John says they don't have them in New Jersey.
He don't freshwater fish though. Well, I tell you what we can do. I can look that up. I don't know that you do either.
Man, this is a aquatic squirrel.
They count. Some of them are just as edible. You do have them, John. They have been established there. I don't know when. Primarily found in the tributaries of the Delaware River. That's not good. Nearby lakes and canals such as Newton Lake and the Delaware Raritan Canal. Says anglers encounter them. Oh, anglers, again, they want you to kill it, freeze it, get it out of the water. Don't put it back in. And the Delaware River Basin, the northern snakehead has established populations, and that's so yeah. In some places, John, looks like you do have it bad. If they're in they're in the Delaware River Basin, and I don't know how big these lakes are, but if they're fed and drained into freshwater streams and stuff, they're going to be everywhere, and that's going to be really hard to ever get rid of them, because it's just. Because when I said they will eradicate them in like a fishing pond, they literally will go in there and use something called rotenone, which is a natural poison toxin that they literally sample for fish with. They'll take a small cove or something and they'll rotenone it, as we used to say, and then they'll collect all the fish species that pop up and they'll count them and do a estimate. And it's not hard on populations as long as you don't have a very low population, but it's really a tool that they can use. But anyway, they do something like that and they kill all snakeheads, but unfortunately, they'd also kill, bass and anything else that were in there.
But rotenone is not a toxin. It adheres to the gills and reduces oxygenation. And then you can drop that fish in potassium permanganate
And reverse it,
and it's totally fine.
if you get it out quick enough to do that.
Yeah. So you can rotenone a bay and kill all the fish with rotenone, or you can rotenone a bay and the fish you want to save, you can save.
You can save some. Okay, well and they don't affect, and rotenone doesn't affect trout species, if I'm correct.
And if you're a Native American from the Brazilian basin, you've been using it for thousands of years.
Yeah. Don't they do? They catch like, they catch whatever, but I mean, I think I've read where that's one of the ways they fish for piranha.
Yeah, I mean, you can they'll take rocks and basically fence off a little bay or little like a drainage coming into the main river and broadcast the plant, because it's a plant.
Yeah, it's a plant.
Into the water, and then they fish for things like sabalo and piranha and
whatever they get, basically.
Yeah, and it makes them come to the surface, and then they just shoot them with arrows.
And piranha have this, because of movies and television up here, piranha have this image of if we fall in the water, James Bond's enemy falls in the water and gets eaten up immediately by the piranha. I can remember watching Tarzan, and he'd say, "Oh, don't get in that water. There's piranhas," which they don't even have where Tarzan was.
In Africa.
In Africa, piranhas are only South American, or they used to be. They got a problem with them in Florida too, because some a-hole dumps them out down there.
Well, there were two things that were going to kill us when we were kids: quicksand or piranhas.
And as far as I knew, they were every body of water at piranha.
You got to watch. That's quicksand.
Yeah. Anyway, John, what I was going to say was I'll have to look into that, because I don't know if snakeheads. It'd be interesting to know if snakeheads can move successfully from freshwater into saltwater through, by normalizing, by living in brackish water. Some fish can do that. Some fish can't. I mean, some fish just can't tolerate going one to the other.
Well, and the problem with snakeheads is that, if it gets wet enough up on the ground, if it's raining hard enough, they can move between bodies of water.
They can crawl from pond to pond. That's why they wipe them out when they do catch them in a contained body of water. They don't want them crawling over to the next creek. And the same thing with walking catfish. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but there are such things. I know you have, but I mean them. There are such things as a walking catfish that literally, like Mark says, can get up on, especially if it's wet.
Bacon fat all over his hands.
That's okay, John. We can accept that.
We can accept that is a perfectly acceptable condition at all times.
I'm coming up for clam chowder tonight, so just be ready.
And salt pork is good too.
Yeah, that works. So anyway, we need to talk more about that, probably snakefish, that sort of thing. So sometimes agencies work with, and this is of course sponsored by an agency, but they work with people to try to turn some of these. They have worked for years to try to get carp to become people to catch them to eat and become a food source, because that's one way to cut the numbers down. Like I said, if you get people to eat them, then pretty soon you might could wipe them out, probably not, but you can at least get the numbers down low enough that they're not not having such an effect on the native populations. So that's why you see that kind of stuff.
I'd like to take a snakehead and a bowfin
Put them together.
and put them in the same tank and watch them fight.
That'd be interesting. I don't know. I never knew much about bowfin until I went to school and then worked for an agency that has water responsibilities. Because I never caught one, I'd never seen one. But we had that fish pond I've talked about where we had the trained bluegill.
Yeah.
They had a couple of not snakeheads. They had a couple of bowfin in there that somebody caught in West Tennessee, and they had because they would put native fit, not native. Well, yeah, that's native. They'd put river fish and stuff that it found in Tennessee in that as an exhibit at one time. And it used to be a little museum up front, and they had big, huge fish tanks full of little darters and all kinds of cool stuff. Anyway, we had 2 or 3 bowfin in that pond, and they fed them on, minnows. They'd hop by it from some minnow company. I don't know what they were, some kind of shiners or fatheads. But anyway, the no, Tina, what do you mean? Is that on everything? Wait a minute. Let me get. So they bring minnows in every couple of weeks to feed all the fish in there that were piscivorous, and it was so cool to watch those bowfin hunt because they would get a school of minnows and they would start corralling them into a ball, and then they dash through there and just slash and kill and get their dinner that way. It was interesting. No, I didn't mean to do that. I've obviously maybe I had salt pork on my fingers.
So we had bowfin were like dime a dozen in Arkansas.
Yeah.
And I mean they get pretty good size. And the Arkansans called them grinnell.
Grinnell. I've heard them called grinnell.
And they I have seen them like their jaw strength is so strong they could hit like a bass plug and just crush it.
Oh wow.
They're a cool fish.
I can remember this squirrel day. We used to fish those little chartreuse poppers like in the Nolechucky or somewhere, and we'd hit. I can remember it was so much fun to catch little warmouth or rock bass, whatever. They're like that. They're not very big, but man, when they hit a plug a couple of times, they can just tear those things off.
Destroy it.
About a little bitty fly type plug, but yeah, I'll have to go back and fix it, Tina. I didn't know. I didn't see that. Like I said, I've been having trouble typing this week more than normal, which is saying a lot because I always have trouble typing. So anyway, here's one of the cool cook-offs I found. I don't have many more of these, so I don't know what time it is, but there won't be too much more on this. This one is called Cook-Off for the Coast. I really like this one. It's Louisiana area, and I thought they had the coolest trophies. That's one in the back of that picture there beside the crawdad who's playing a trombone. That's who you would only find in, Louisiana, New Orleans area. And that medal there beside it, if you can see it here, that's a trophy. That's one of the trophies for this contest. And this is all about restoring the Delta and trying to fix erosion problems and trying to take, we're losing the Delta of the Mississippi is just becoming, gone in many places. And they've lost a lot of what used to be Louisiana. So anyway, they're working on it's a restoration project, so I can get behind that pretty easy. It says it all started from food is such an important and integral part of both our coast and our culture, speaking of Louisiana. after all, it's known as Sportsman's Paradise, and it's only right that this event combines the two. So that's what they do. They try to work on, and it's raising awareness about the land loss issues and the urgent need for coastal restoration. It's another free event to the public, but you can get, free food samples and there are lots of other things. There's probably lots of things you can buy, like adult beverages, and because it wouldn't be New Orleans area or Louisiana, there wasn't adult
You
beverages.
can just pour it out of a spigot off the side of a building.
Yeah.
For crying out loud.
Dave Harrell told me that the first time I ever heard that, and he said that's great, the greatest thing. He thought that's the greatest invention in the world.
The best.
He couldn't figure out why everybody didn't do that.
Nolans.
So there's a couple more pictures of this event. And they have this. Some of these, I'm not sure if this one's always centered in the same place. They move a few of these around, and there are. I don't know. I'll show you one in a minute. I do know there's some of the trophies. I'm sorry for the pictures. I couldn't find any good pictures of the trophies, but that's an example of them. It's a cook pot with stuff flying out of it. But I am quite sure that everything you see here that's edible is quite delectable. This one I found quite interesting because one, I don't know about this, and I almost should because I know a lot of people that work in Alabama. But this one also it's by the Alabama Wildlife Federation, and it is again to support wildlife projects and habitat and that sort of thing and education. And they're getting behind the Alabama state license plate for wildlife, which I think I said last week. Most states get a percentage of that. Whatever, if you pay $100 for a vanity license plate to put on your car, usually a percentage of that goes to the state wildlife agency. I don't know how much they get in this case. I didn't look that up, but when Tennessee first started that program, the agency, by law, it was set up that the agency got 95% of the proceeds from that license plate. That is not normal, and I don't know if it's still that way here. But it was then, which I thought was amazing that they found a way to do that. But anyway, and most of these are not just wild food, wild game or fish or birds, but a lot of them have like I said, they have an element for that. And this is one, Mark, I said, I misspoke the other day when I said you're the agency. It's not the agency, it's the Wyoming Wildlife Federation.
That my son used to work for.
Yeah. So they did this cook-off. Did you guys ever go to this?
I never did.
Okay. Hold that thought a minute. I meant to say something about this one. This Alabama cook-off, I meant to say this. They hold like mini cook-offs all over the state. So your city might have one. And then they have a year-ending one where all the champions from each city, which would be a great thing to do with the squirrel cook-off. They should do that there. Uh-oh.
Don't let them out.
Is there somebody out there?
No, I got two dogs that occasionally go on a walkabout, and it's a nice, cool, soft Scotland-y kind of a day.
So they might just do that.
And they might go on a walkabout, and I don't need them to do that.
Well, apparently these guys have been doing this for a while.
So my son was at this event. I don't remember what year it was now. It's been recently. They had there's a chef from Montana that lost his arm in a freak accident involving electricity and a black bear.
Oh no.
And he's a world renowned. He's been on Chopped. So anytime they do wild game stuff on Chopped, he's usually a judge. I can't think of his name right now, but he's He didn't know my name either, but
You sure?
but he was there, and Samuel was up there with our grandson Boone, and we have photos of them together, those three
So it's not that
together.
very long ago then, if he was with Boone.
Yeah, it was just a couple years ago.
This is in Landers, if I'm not mistaken,
It's in Lander.
in Orlando. I mean. Yeah, I thought their trophies were interesting, or their trophy. I don't know if there's more than one for this event, but those those are great big giant horns on that pronghorn there.
I gotta see if I know those people.
Well, I was wondering about that, and I
might know some of those people.
I actually tried to look for Sammy. I don't know if I would have known him if I saw him, but I didn't see any pictures. But anyway, these are all pictures from one of their gatherings. I'm not sure how long they've been doing that. And they seem to have a pretty good. I love that this picture doesn't represent how good it looked in a miniature size, but this photo down here at this lower right, excuse me, my other left is. I just thought that was the neatest photograph because it didn't blow up well, but I bet the original is really cool because they had that smoke coming out of where they were cooking, and it was in those trees and coming out of around those shelters, buildings, and the sun was hit. I mean, it was just a great picture, and I couldn't help put it in there, even if it wasn't very good. I still put it in there.
Looks like God rays.
Kind of, very similar. So these guys are been doing this long enough that they've got they've got no doubt volunteer teams, or they've got put together cutlery kits that you can pick up with their logo on the napkin and everything. And I read about some of the foods they had there, and man, these places all have just great sounding recipes and food. Makes my mouth water.
Well, a lot of these people at these various events they're trained.
Yeah, some of them are trained. Yeah, there's some
trained chefs.
I mean, there's some of them that are like us, that are just like maybe or you or
or just want to make food, but
yeah. But these guys, not all of them, but some of them, yeah, certainly. This one, I didn't get a lot of information about it. The Greater Houston Builders Association does one every year, barbecue and wild game, and I could not find all the details on that, which bothered me a little bit, but I put it in there anyway. I like the poster. I mean, I don't know if they're just funding themselves. I doubt it, but I couldn't figure out what they were, fighting for, so to speak. Probably not.
Well, they had it on Veterans Day.
Yeah, that's why. That's one of the biggest reasons I put them in here, because they do it on or around Veterans Day, and I thought, well, that's cool. That's a good reason to do it. That's down. Actually, there's two down there. I've got another one, I think.
So which means that you're in South Texas, and you can still go outside on Veterans Day.
Yeah. This one, Yaga's Wild Game Cook-Off and Barbecue, as it's barbecue cook-off. So they have both. It doesn't have to be wild game, but they have divisions. This was for next year. The people to sign up, and they're already advertising for cooks, or people sign up. It's a 2-day thing, and this one's down in Galveston. It says, in that whole area, but it's for the Yaga's Children's Fund, and a lot of this money went to, and this may have started when one of the big hurricanes came through down there and did so much damage, and this developed from that as a way to fundraise and help people out on the coast. There's several of those like that, and I think the next one is down. I couldn't figure out. I looked it up, and I found what Yaga meant, and then I lost it, and now I can't find it again. And I thought I wrote it down, but I can't find it in my notes, so I must not have. So anyway, and this last one was I thought this, my thoughts on this picture where this squirrel's thinking, those guys looked through one of these when they shot at me the other day. How can I use this to shoot back? Or something to that effect. But that's how my mind works. Maybe yours doesn't. Well, not yours. Yours probably does, but I think that's going to close. I believe I closed that out.
You did?
And anyhow, so that all started from thinking about cook-offs and just morphed into all kinds of things. But it really got started because of what we've been talking about made me want to go squirrel hunting, and it's got me wanting to get out in the woods and I hadn't even bought a license in several years, so I'd like to get a license and start. Oh, and I learned something, Mark, and I didn't tell this last week. I don't know if we got to this or not, but I found out something about you, brother. If you come back here to hunt and fish,
Yeah.
you can buy a resident license. You don't have to buy an out-of-state license in Tennessee because you were born here, by God. So any native-born American Tennessean,
Seriously?
yes, can hunt and fish in Tennessee simply by buying a state hunting and fishing license.
A resident license.
Resident license.
Really?
So, yeah, even if that costs more than it used to, which they do.
Well, of course they do.
And so I thought so when you come back here and go fishing next year or whenever it is, or whatever year it is, by God, you can buy a local license. You don't have to spend the extra money to buy a state license.
That's cool.
I thought that's something they passed just, I don't know if I don't remember the date. I can't remember what date they said. But that hasn't been the case for a long time. I mean, that's fairly new.
Yeah, because when we were back there the last time we went fishing with you, when Kirby and I were back there, we bought non-resident licenses.
Yeah, but I didn't even know the thing. I never even thought about that until I was looking through license fees last week to see what an annual sportsman's license would cost me at my age, or not an annual, but rest of my lifetime. And
look
I stumbled across that. Oh, looky there. Where'd you get?
Hold on. Look at that.
Oh, did you just pick that up while you and Sal were out?
Ain't that cool?
That is cool. Where'd you find that?
Out here in the desert.
What's John talking about? Ready for my close-up? John, I'm not sure if I missed something you were saying there, but if you're ready to show it to us, I'll be glad to put you on screen. You just tell me, buddy, and I'll send you a link. Don't dare me, because I'll do that. So how long did Sal get to hang around? Just a couple of days or a week? He been there all week?
He's been here. Let's see. He got here on Wednesday, I think. Maybe Tuesday.
Yeah,
maybe
right.
Tuesday.
Gotcha.
Maybe Tuesday.
Maybe Tuesday. Cool.
Yeah, he's been around. Been around a few days. We went up to the mountain and stayed up on the mountain, and it was all good.
Yeah.
We got really, really, really wet yesterday. Rained and rained and rained and rained and rained.
I talked to you yesterday morning. You weren't sure what you were going to do.
Yeah, we weren't. We didn't think we were going to even get to go out and wander, because this country turns to kind of axle grease after it's rained long enough.
It does.
But we chose our route carefully. and avoided some of that. So
Yeah, I learned about that, and it's a different different species of mud, but I learned about that in New Mexico. You wouldn't think about it turning into mud like it does. Yeah,
yeah,
I think about
there's a lot of bentonite here, so
yeah.
it just you can get quite. We were gonna go down to a spot I wanted to go to poke around and look at rocks, and that wasn't happening. It just was not happening.
Oh me.
Yeah, but he's
Well, I'm glad he got to come over.
he's off to the gym state. He's probably in the gym state by now.
Is that Idaho?
Mm-hmm. I think they call him the gym state.
Yeah, they might.
It's about an hour and 10 minutes or so from here to the southwest border or southeast border of the state. And but it was going to take him about 6 hours to get home to Boise.
Yeah, Idaho's the gem state. What do they call Arkansas? Diamond State?
Which?
Arkansas. Don't they call it the Diamond State? Or maybe I know people go there, you find diamonds in Arkansas.
Well, you find crystals.
Well, you find diamonds too.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, they find some, and every once in a while somebody finds a big one. You find a lot of small chips and broken ones, but yeah, there are actually diamonds in Arkansas. I've seen a couple of programs about nothing but that. I don't even see them on the list. Arkansas not there. Why did they miss out? The Knockler guy must have been in charge of putting the next in that. That's awful.
The Knockler.
If he was responsible, I can see why they would have maybe forgotten.
That's a pretty sight, ain't that, boys? I can still remember him ghosting out of the woods and looking down on Treat, Arkansas, and going,
They call it the natural state, the land of opportunity, or the Razorback state. One of those.
Ain't that's a pretty sight, ain't it, boys? I wish I had my knockler.
I wish you did too.
That's the only human being I've ever met that was an ungulate. Well, if your eyes are on the side of your head instead of the front,
at least a prey species.
You're an ungulate.
Okay, so here's a fun fact, and probably the last squirrel I'll chase today. But there is a place in Arkansas called the Crater of Diamonds State Park. It's a state park, the only place in the world where the public can search for real diamonds in their original volcanic source, the Crater of Diamonds. They actually let you go there and search for diamonds in a state park. That's really rare to do that, and I cannot imagine.
Yeah, they allow you to take anything from a state park.
Yeah, and I saw if you go to their website, I think it's the state park's website that I've seen this. If you go there and look on it, I believe the biggest one ever found, the biggest diamond ever found in Arkansas, or maybe in America, it was found there. If not
seriously,
yeah, I mean they have found some decent and valuable diamonds there. They're not all just
so where is that located?
Well,
I mean, town wise.
Murfreesboro, Arkansas.
Murfreesboro.
There's a connection. I didn't know I used to live in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. I didn't know there was a Murfreesboro, Arkansas. See, every town, we are so unimaginative in this country. Every damn town in every state's named after somebody from the last state. I swear.
So we're worse out here. When they named creeks,
Yeah,
I mean, some of them have really cool names,
yeah.
like the Paposia, or
Pretty-
the Grovant, or what. There's some places that have cool names, but we make a joke about it all the time. It's like Bear Creek, Cottonwood Creek, Sage Creek, Bear Creek, Cottonwood Creek, Sage Creek.
So you're
Clear,
saying,
and you got to throw a Clear Creek in every now and again.
well, just call.
But I live within 30 miles of two different Clear Creeks that are in two different drainages.
So figure that out. Well, it's like that here too. I
But
don't
I
know.
remembered all of our creeks had like Cherokee names or something. And
Well, a lot of them did. Not all of them, but yeah, a lot of them did. But I tell you something I've learned since then, since being in that area all the time, is that Tennessee. I bet you every county in Tennessee has at least one big creek.
yeah,
Yeah.
probably. And West Virginia and Kentucky. But I mean, we had names back there like Kinnickinnick Creek,
That
or the creek my dad hurt himself, like fell with carrying a canoe and cut himself so bad in Western Tennessee was the Loosahatchee.
Yeah.
You don't have a Loosahatchee everywhere.
No, you don't. I think there's just a Hatchie too. I think there's a shorter version of that. Might not
In
be.
Hiwassee, and there's, I mean,
Yeah, the Hawassee's not far from me. Well, even the Nola Chucky, for Christ's sakes, where we
Nola Chucky,
spent time.
even the Holston. There aren't a bunch of them.
Yeah, that's true. So I looked up the diamond thing. Since I brought it up, let me explain that just for a minute. Well, first off, to answer the question, are they any good? So yes, they have. In fact, recently they have found there have been some discoveries there that have been worth thousands of dollars and even millions of dollars.
Seriously.
That's what it says. It's on the internet. It's got to be true. But there's not. But I saw something. Yeah, here it is. Here it says, why is Arkansas known for diamonds? And here's part of the reason, or probably the reason. Diamonds exist in Arkansas because a volcanic pipe brought them to the surface from deep within the earth, forming the crater of diamonds. So, in other words, there was a volcano in Arkansas, and the intense heat and pressure from that formed diamonds.
I live like on the edge of a super volcano. I should be picking them up out here all the time.
Yeah, I wonder about that.
If that sucker ever goes, I won't worry about it.
Maybe when it did blow last time and created it, maybe they all blew into Arkansas.
Could have. Well, I remember going down, like when we were working, when Tim Patton and I were working in the Ouachitas.
Yeah, that's a good name.
That mountain range that's south of the Arkansas River. So you got the Ozarks to the north and the Ouachitas to the south. And with an O, not with a W, with an OU, not with a W.
Yeah.
If you go down to the Ouachitas, you pick up these great big crystals all the time. They beautifully like cut. I mean, they look like they were like humans built them.
They were cast.
Yeah, like they were a cast of this crystal. And we picked those things up all the time. I have a whole pile of them, and they're not. I just wondered if they were saying that those were diamonds because they're not diamonds. But they've got to be related to that. But I don't know where Murfreesboro is at. I gotta look that up now.
Well, hang on a minute. Before I go, I'll do that. Since I brought it up, I should have to look it up.
And it's going to be like a town that I've been through 1,000 times probably and just didn't pay attention.
Okay, Murfreesboro, Arkansas. It is, well, it's not too far from Nashville, Arkansas. That is too funny. Think about that for a minute. Murfreesboro, Tennessee is not very far from Nashville, Tennessee either.
So that's where those two names came from.
Yeah, worked their way west. It's
for definite.
well, it is on the western. It is south of the Ouachitas, Mark.
Oh, down there, like getting toward Texarkana. Is it on the west side of the state?
Yeah, it's between the Ouachitas and Texarkana.
Got
Probably.
it. Yeah, I never spent any time down there at all.
So that's where it's at, Nashville. I can't believe that. In this case, Murfreesboro is north of Nashville. In Tennessee, it's south of Nashville. Just to clarify. I can't. That's too funny. Oh, bye, Brenda. You're probably long gone, but she said bye. All right. I guess I need to stay by. I'm about to lose my voice anyway. So, buddy, I appreciate you coming on.
Well, go harvest a bushy tail or two for me.
I might. It could happen. It could happen.
You need to make it happen.
I just need to.
That's the kind of hunting you can do that you can just go out and sit in a chair in the woods and.
That's true. That's true. I haven't scouted much around here, but yeah, you got a good point. There's a lot. I have lots of places to go hunt. I just haven't been out looking around here to see where the squirrels are.
That was my mom's dad's favorite method of hunting squirrels was just to go sit at the base of a tree and just sit there and let them come to him.
Yeah, well, I've done that too.
And I was always too much of a wanderer in those days, but I'm getting more and more sedentary in my
older days. You're not as snake-eyed as you used to be. So to speak. I mean, all snake-eyed.
You can actually draw and shoot your pistol before you even touch it.
Before you even touched it. Little Big Man, guys. In case
the best movie that man ever made by far, by like 1,000%. That's the best one.
So that's also, I forgot to explain my name this morning. Hankering Bear is why I had that in there. I've been hankering to go squirrel hunting. So that might be a Tennessee term.
You need a few of them and some dumplings, buddy.
That'd be real. Yeah.
Golly. Well, like I said, I took Sal up on the mountain hunting grouse.
When you were
I was carrying my Hopkins and Allen that my uncle gave me 22. I was just going to shoot squirrels, and I've never been up in that location when I didn't see hundreds of those little devils, and they were not there.
You don't know what model rifle that is, do you?
It's out in the car, so I can send it to you.
It's a single shot 22. Does it shoot everything?
Shoots them all. I'm shooting long rifles out of it, so yeah, it shoots. It'd shoot any of them. I mean, if you can chamber a long rifle, you can chamber a long or short.
Well, right. Mine on the barrel of mine just says shorts and longs. So I don't know. I think I probably shot long rifles in it. so it might fit, but I'm not. You probably won't. But that rolling block, just like a drop block, hell, you couldn't hurt it. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, this is a fallen block on this Hopkins and Allen, and he had purchased it and it had a broken buttstock, and he built the buttstock, but it looks just like the forearm. It's it's walnut, and he did a good job with it. So but it doesn't have a metal butt plate. It's just got a wooden butt plate, but it's a tack driver, except when I'm shooting at a squirrel.
Yeah. Well, you got to check that out and see what's going on.
I get the squirrel fever. I got squirrel fever, I guess.
Getting like me, you may not be able to see it as well.
Well, our squirrels are little anyway, so we just have red squirrels. But anyway,
you take care. Have fun. Talk to you soon.
Talk to all you guys later.
If you talk to you folks, tell them I said, hey, I need to call up there and check on them.
Well, we're gonna be going on next Thursday.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
How long are you going to be there?
Just 5 days.
Would you have any time for company?
Oh yeah, always. But
I'll talk to you about that. We might just run up there.
Yeah, it'll be just. Shauna's real busy this time of year, and.
Oh yeah, I get that.
It's kind of hard to, and we always have to contend with potential weather, and we just never know. So
you know the dates off the top of your head?
I think we're going to be back there the 17th through the 22nd, somewhere in that range.
Today's the 11th, so that means you're going to be there Friday. So you're going to go on Thursday.
We're leaving on Thursday.
Okay, and you're going.
My wife's correcting me. When are we leaving, babe? We're leaving Friday the 17th.
Okay. Well, I don't want to invite myself, but I would love to, guys. It's been a while.
You ain't inviting yourself, dude.
I'm family.
You're family.
Well, we might just see you up there then.
Yeah. Anyway,
I'll talk to you about it.
We'll be back there. Every time we go back there, like everybody wants everything.
Oh, I know. That's
why my cousin wants to go one day to Kentucky and do what, and I'm like, dude, we're only going to be there a few days, and we're not going to go to Kentucky.
Well, we're going to do that Kentucky thing.
I mean, we're going to land in Kentucky, but we're going to.
You won't be able to go hunt fossils.
Yeah, well, he wants to go down. He wants to take me down to our original ancestor. No,
yeah.
Not our original ancestor, but the one that was like most associated with early America. Wants to take me to his grave.
Yeah,
we've been talking about that trip for years now, and it's just like, anyway.
I want to get back. I'd like to get over to up to Pennsylvania country where some of my people were from. Fort. I'd love to go see that fort, or what it's called a fort then. It just looks like a big stone house now, but that's what it was. That's what it was built for.
Probably a wine.
John said, "Go Pokes." I guess they're playing today sometime. Maybe they're on now. I don't know.
Are they?
Don't know. He just said, "Go Pokes." And anyway, if you're still out there, appreciate it, buddy. Good to talk to you. I have to give me a call today. 5 p.m. Mountain Time. They're in Laramie.
5 p.m. Mountain Time in Laramie. We'll be watching that if we can get it.
John, you'll have to give me a call someday.
I can't figure out TV anymore, but
Anybody else? Tina, if you're still here, Chuck, if you're out there, whoever's left out there, Brenda left. Thanks for being here. Glad you hung around this long. I meant to ask if anybody's got a topic they would like for us to discuss, please send it to me. I'm glad to do it. I'm worried that I'm running out of things that people are interested in. I don't know. Anyway, and maybe that's not true, but I have a feeling that, if it was my daughters out there, they might not listen. They might already cut me off. Oh man, what's wrong with you? You know what you're talking about? You're chasing squirrels, buddy. And by God, I'll chase them. Anyway, have fun. You have a good rest. I will talk this week.
Okay.
I will talk about the trip. We may come up there.
All right.
Anyway, see you guys. Everybody have a great weekend.
You too.
Go Vols.